Oh, Emma. You had so much potential going for you. Oh, hey everyone, Luke here, and yeah, if you follow me on Twitter or follow the Control Chaos Discord, you will know that, as I've mentioned before, Emma was my favourite protagonist of all time. Note how I said what was my favourite protagonist of all time because, yeah, Senku would like to have a few words with you, Emma. Yeah, that's all it means. Come on, let's just get right into this chapter because, oh my god, this is probably one of Senku's best moments. Alright, so this will be chapter 182 titled Diamond Heart, or as I like to call it, no, it's just Diamond Heart. But anyway, let's not just be around the bush. Let's just dive right into this. So it starts off with the guys reiterating what's happened, reiterating what's been said in the sense that they'll foil the radar of Stanley's ship and use their futuristic science of the stealth ship to actually sneak around him and hopefully get to super alloys. So as we see, Yukio, Chrome, and Kaku just basically coating the whole ship. Coating the whole ship in nothing but these Medusas, as they go on to say, none of us could have predicted that we'd be coating a ship with piles of Medusa devices. Senku sure to be pleased given how logical he always is. And yes, he was quite pleased with this because even he was not expecting something like this to come about. But hey, even the best minds in the world can be surprised about certain things. Chrome goes on to say, yeah, because good science, it's all about efficiency. Gotta use what's available. Not that I have no clue how the mechanism works, but Chrome, you're smart, so you'll be able to figure this stuff out if you just follow the steps and learn and go by all of what Senku has actually been teaching you. Senku goes on to say that that mechanism is exactly what we're about to delve into, and this is something that a lot of people, myself included, have wanted to know about. Like, how the hell did this Medusa device come into existence in the first place? How do all the mechanisms inside it actually work? And fortunately, in this chapter, we're actually going to find out so much about this. So we continue on with Senku going, I'm really grateful to have a whole mountain of samples to work with. Yeah, I'm not bloody surprised, Senku, because you only had one tiny Medusa when all the others were destroyed on Trust Ride. You only had that one tiny Medusa, and now you've got this whole mountain of Medusas to actually figure it out. And he goes on to say, with so many of them terrorized, they'll figure out how to reactivate them now. I did mention something about Diamond City in the last review, but we'll get into that when we get into it because given the fact that this is called Diamond Heart, it's obvious that they're going to be making diamonds anyway. But anyway, they reiterates that victory will be quite literally in the palm of their hands. Am I wrong? No, you're not, Reused, because that's basically what you're doing at this point in time. Although I would like it again to not be a case where they're using the Medusa as crutch to defeat every single villain or every single antagonist that comes in this series. I'd like them to be a little more creative, kind of like what they were doing with Sinu and with Stanley. Yeah, I can kind of see where they're coming from, but I don't want Stanley to be petrified. I feel like that would just be a rehash of what happened with Ibarra. As Senku asks Dr. Sino if he's okay with actually helping them, given the fact that they're planning to turn Stanley into stone again, Sino gives his response by saying, if I were to use politics to execute myself from basic research, that would give you a scientific advantage. And I love that, like, he's not letting his political agendas get in the way of advancing research, because if he does that, then obviously Senku is going to take advantage of that and it could put him in a dangerous position. And he goes on to say, naturally, in the event that I come across a discovery that escapes your grasp, I have no intention of sharing my findings. And I love that. Party Jumps on Discord said that he's glad that Sinu is still an antagonist, and I can't really see him as an antagonist at this point. I see him, like I said to him on Discord, I see him more as neutral, like he's only going along with them and cooperating them because it benefits him, but at the same time, he's not going to give them every single detail. He's only doing it he's basically neutral in the sense like, okay, I'll help you because it helps me, but at the same time, I'm not going to do anything that will jeopardize that would basically give you an advantage over Stanley. That's up to you guys to figure out. I'm staying out of that one, but if it comes to like science to figure out how these mechanisms work, yeah, I'll cooperate with you in that sense. But still, at the same time, if I find something, I'm keeping that to myself. So again, he's being neutral, he's being cooperative, but at the same time, he's only being cooperative when it benefits him, and I love that about Sino, how he's kind of like keeping this more neutral ground. As they start to figure out the Medusas and start to pick them apart, they notice that inside all of them there is a blackened diamond, just as Joel reported, and that smashing the samples apart left them with countless tiny components. But the fact that that this diamond was the key to it all, that's like, okay, we have a lead. It's a very thin lead, but it's still a lead to lead on. And they go on to say that Joel is a master technician when it comes to fully jeweled watches, and without his elegant analysts, we may never have been able to catch this. As not always, knowledge is power, but at the same time, power corrupts. So let's just see where this actually goes, because the more like you said, the more knowledge you have, the more power you have, but also the more prone to being corrupt you have as well. But anyway, Senku goes on to say the charred bits make it hard to tell much about the crystal structure, or if the refractive index is somehow distorted. And I love this here because as Sinu and Senku are getting pretty technical in this panel, you see Chrome, who's like, I want to say he's the third smartest out of the series. So the series at the moment, because you have Senku, then you have Sinu, who may be a little bit smarter than Senku just for the fact that he has more experience, more age on his side. Then Senku, then Chrome. I'd say, but even then, Chrome is like the third smartest person in that room. Is like, what are they going on about? I have no idea what's going on here. And I just love panels like that because it shows that even the smartest people can be like, oh, what the fuck is this all about? But continue on, they go on to say, we've cracked open 1,000 of these things, and every last time it shows a different blackened part. So the patterns aren't planned or deliberate. Are these distortedly alterations simply the result of damage? And yes, they are. Yes, they are, because as it's been proven that even a bullet sniper can actually distort and corrupt these devices. And this is common because, like, if you shoot like a games console or anything like that, that will pretty much stop it working. I think it's the same thing here. Like, if you shoot this device, it's just gonna stop. It's just gonna stop working. And we'll get into more of this as we go through the chapter. As Chrome starts to analyze the diamonds himself, he comes across the discovery that there's a diamond within these Medusas that's not blackened at all, and this completely surprises both Sinu and Senku, again showing just how not just how smart Chrome is, but how observant he can be about certain situations. They go on to say, we're thinking that a diamond works like a battery, which means this one could be as good as new. And as they figure out, like, okay, we might have to search each Medusa to find one that's actually inside that's a Medusa that actually doesn't have a blackened diamond, but instead is one that's actually crystal clear, looks good as new. And fortunately for them, they have Kohaku, who has a keen eye, which makes sense because she was looking up at the Medusa, which was like far away from her when she was being petrified on Treasure Island, and she could tell, yes, this is a scientific device, basically. But anyway, she finds one that has a perfectly good diamond, and as she gives the command, 1 meter 3 seconds, she tosses it, but of course nothing happens, which, yeah, let's be honest, it wasn't really going to be that easy. And Yuki goes on to say, it's hardly as good as new. It might be a dud, like a bomb that never went off. And this is where Sinu comes to a realization that he sees cracks, and it's likely along the cleavage planes, which are the structures where the crystal bond is naturally weaker and prone to cracking. Okay, so it's basically like the weak spot on a certain function, like for example, like the weak spot for any human body would obviously be the heart or the brain. But if you were able to, like, sort of like go off to the side, like say you were able to, like, say for example, just use me as an example. Like if I was shot by Stanley and he shot me just past the heart, but not properly on the heart, then I'd still be able to function, just not as well as I could have been. No, actually, what am I talking about? I'm talking crazy here. So basically, from what I'm gathering here, it's kind of like around the heart of the Medusa device. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. So like the heart has to be, for the heart of the Medusa has to be really good, really brand new for it to obviously be functioning properly. I believe that's what they're trying to get across here. Like the gist of it, like it has to be shiny, brand new, no cracks, no anything, and then it can be working properly. As they continue to discuss this, that the clean diamonds do actually have cracks in them, Senku's like, so you're willing to share your discovery, Professor, after saying you wouldn't? And Senior brushes himself like, you probably would have figured it out anyway, Senku, so there was no point in me hiding it. Before they go on to say, the other non-blackened ones, they're either cracked or chipped, or they're just a bit smaller than the others, and it seems that the minor defects keep these studs from firing. They're new, but they're not good as new. So like I said, it's kind of like the diamond is basically like the heart of the Medusa. So like it has to be fully functioning to the brink in order for it to be fully working properly. And they go on to say that the blackened diamonds that got used are perfect in every other way, but that the shapes don't all look the same. Before Chrome gets like a realization in his head, like, does this mean what I think it means? Well, as Senku goes, well, it's still just a hypothesis, but if we had a diamond that's 10 billion% the correct shape and good as new, without cracks or scratches, we could cram it into a Medusa and power it back up. Now, I love the fact that they're actually bringing this up, that they're actually going to make diamond. But again, I'm just going to go off on a tangent here. Just because they're making diamond doesn't mean it's actually going to be enough. I feel like they'll still have to go to Africa, because Africa is more well known for having diamonds there. So they'll probably have to go to Africa. And it was the only continent that it has fully humanized population that was never put on that world map. It was Asia, Australia, Europe, North and South America, and obviously we have Antarctica, but humans hardly live in Antarctica. And the only other one was Africa. So my guess is that Diamond City is going to be, they're going to be like, okay, we need to add Diamond City and we need to go to Africa to get these diamonds. We can make these diamonds in the same way that we were able to make rubber, but it's not going to be enough for us. We actually have to go to Diamond City to get more diamonds for these Medusas if we're ever actually going to have a shot of them fully functioning as well as we could have. Because even if they do make the diamonds, Stanley is still a sharpshooter, so he could just be like, okay, I'm going to pinpoint this diamond here, I'm going to crack it so like it doesn't petrify me. So even though they will have the diamonds, it still probably wouldn't be enough to take down Stanley. And of course, we get Senku with one of his ever crazy faces. We're making a diamond, which obviously was not hard to figure out, considering the chapter was literally called Diamond Heart. Oh my god, I've been saying that the diamond was the heart of the Medusa this whole time. I finally get the reference to the chapter title right now. Clever Boichi, clever Inagaki. So basically, yeah, the diamond is the heart of the Medusa. So okay, let's just get out of the way. It's the heart of the Medusa. So anyway, we get the mini roadmap for diamond, because it's pretty simple when you think about it. All you would need is alcohol, electricity, flammariant, and tungsten, and then you get the diamond. And then obviously, I love this one little panel that you just have Joel. It's like technician on the roadmap, because he's obviously going to be the one that's actually going to be analysing and studying this thing. And then you have limitless Medusas, but again, like I said, nothing in the series runs smoothly. So even if they do have the diamond, it's still not. I still feel it's not going to be enough to take down Slowly, because one shot and then it's all over for them with those Medusas. But anyway, he relays this information via Morse code back to the people at Corn City. And again, just going off on a quick tangent here, I've got to say again, I love it when series do this, where they actually like, okay, we've left this location, but we're still going to be coming back to this location even in the forthcoming arcs. And again, this is something that not even many of the big series don't do. Now, One Piece doesn't really do this unless it's actually something really, really important. I don't know if people have noticed that. Like, when was the last time you went to God, when was the last time you went to some of the more random locations in One Piece? Now I know Corn City is not a random location, but you get what I'm getting at here, guys. Like, you don't be coming back to like Alabaster in say like the other arcs that are coming up half the time, or something like Dressrosa. You don't tend to come back to that in certain art. Like, maybe I'm just being a bit biased here. Actually, no, I am being biased here. But I just love it when you like, okay, you have these established characters in this location that are just as well as interesting as the main cast. So let's focus on them a while, and let's give them something that can actually be integral to the plot for them to actually do. Anyway, coming back to Corn City, we have them getting Senku's message like, "You're going to make a diamond," and they're like, "What?" As Nikki goes on to say, that's as insane as planned as ever. And Yo's like, how does someone just make a diamond? Like, Yo, you can make anything if you follow the steps. And oh boy, this moment coming up with Senku. Fucking hell, I love it. Anyway, that's for later in the chapter. He questions why didn't everyone in the old world do this? I'm making a dough. Gee, I don't know. Maybe because people don't want to be as corrupt as you can be half the time. As we get a panel of him thinking in a fantasy that if he doesn't doubt that Senku could pull it off, but he wishes he had a pal like him back in the day. As we see Yo just sitting on a throne with Senku just working, like, looking completely miserable as well. But anyway, Senku reiterates through Morse code that Joel the Pro Tech is going to. Oh no! I think it might actually be no. It is Morse code. Joel the Pro Tech is gonna grind it down and see how the mechanism works first, but them lot are actually gonna have to make the diamond. And Miami, it's saying easier said than done. We don't have a professional scientist on hand since Senku and Dr. Sino are away, and this is what Kinru says. And this is where we get possibly one of Senku's best moments, maybe his best moment in the series. That's up to you. But for me personally, this is quite possibly one of the top 10 best moments in Dr. Stone here. Not so fast. The pros don't hold an exclusive patent on science. Anyone could do it, whether sinner or saint. Following the steps yields the same results. That's the whole point of science. Fucking hell, I love Senku so much. Okay. You know how I was saying at the beginning of the chapter that Emma used to be my favorite MC, but Senku stole it with this chapter. That was the moment when Senku said that speech, like, anyone could do it, whether sinner or saint, follows as long as they follow the steps. Science is not exclusive to everyone. Science is for everyone. And Okay, why did it take this long for Senku to bump Emma off? Well, again, it's just those words. Like, just those inspiring words, because he's inspiring not just the characters, not even the dumb characters in the series, like Magma and Yo, as we'll soon see in the chapter, but he inspires the audience. He inspires me. That is such a good message to take away from this series, and it can be applied to anything that you do in life. Whether it be science, sport, media, acting, gardening, cooking, all of it is connected in some way by science. And if you follow the steps and have sheer determination, you can achieve everything. That's basically what I took away from this chapter. Like, this chapter just gave me so much inspiration to like actually complete my work, complete my stories, and complete my books. And like Senku said, if I'm just following the steps and I have perseverance, I can achieve I can achieve anything, whether it be even if I'm just a pro or just an amateur at times. And like I said, I just love the fact that he is just so neutral in this case, and just sticks to his ideologies. Like, anyone can achieve anything as long as you follow the steps, because that is the point of science. And like I said, I believe he's not just saying that to the characters as well, but also saying it to the audience, like to you, the audience, like you, regardless of your past, regardless of who you are. As long as you follow the steps and you achieve, as long as you follow the steps from your goal and work hard and are determined to achieve that goal, you can do it, because this is not exclusive to basically the higher up. Science is everything. It doesn't belong to anyone, and I love that. Like, Senku was just passing down this knowledge and saying like, hey, I may be one of the brightest brains in the kingdom of science, but that doesn't mean you guys can't be the brightest brains as well, because, like I said, science is not exclusive for everyone. Science is for everyone. And just moments like that, like Emma, I did like her because of just her determination and how she never gave up on her ideals, despite how ludicrous they could be at times, and they could be ludicrous. I am not going to deny that Emma's ideologies were ludicrous at the time, but she just had such a strong conviction and such a strong determination that I kind of wanted to see it go through to the end. But Senku, not only does he have strong, determined convictions and ideologies, he inspires others to follow their own strong convictions and ideologies through his words of encouragement, and basically saying like, yes, I'm applying this to science, but I'm also applying it to you guys as well, because science is connected through everything, and you just gotta respect someone like that. And that is why Senku has become my new favourite MC. So let's just give a round of applause for Senku, guys. He did it. He achieved the impossible. He not only became my favourite MC, but he bumped himself up to third character in my top 10 Dr. Stone characters, right behind Chrome and Suika. Suika, I just love her aesthetic and how useful she's been for the Kingdom of Science, because without her, Senku would have been able to get the Kingdom of Science off in the first place, because she was the one who basically found out, oh, they want something different to taste, and that's when Senku got the idea to make the ramen. And Chrome, I just relate to him more, because he's just a character who's just eager to learn and eager to prove himself, regardless of how people think about him, and that's basically me in a nutshell. So that's why, but Senku, just from those few words, and this is why I love this series as well, just few words can say more for a character and a series than entire series could do. Like, those words I've had more impact for me, have said more for me than the whole of My Hero Academia. And I know the fans are going to say that, like, the whole of My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, Bleach, Promise Neverland. Yes, I am saying that as well. And I know this will probably piss some people off, but those simple words just said a lot more for me than Chainsaw Man as well. Those are my controversial opinions, and I've rambled on too much about this, just this one moment from Senku that I feel like I've said enough. So continuing on. So moving back to the chapter, Senku gives the instructions on how to make the diamond. That they'll need some methanol and basically that's it. I love the fact that it's just like methanol and that's it, and you're like, no freaking way. But of course he goes on to say, worst case you could use whatever booze that they've got through it, would require an extra step or two. But of course, this being seen as cancel, he obviously has methanol as they actually find it, and now they have to heat it up a ton. And again, I just love Yo's reactions in this chapter, like because Senku was just being so vague at this point. Like, he's like, well, give us a few more details. Continuing on, they say that the heat required will come from a turquoise flamelet, and again, I love moments like this from characters like Magma, who at the beginning of the series was one of the dumber characters. I know that's I know that's kind of an edgy thing to say, but Magma was pretty dumb at the beginning of the series. But anyway, despite being not one of the sharpest tools in the box, he does remember that the tungsten was the stuff that he actually had to collect in the cave. As Kimura goes on to say, yes, the one used to craft the light bulb, the ultimate metal, means it can even endure heat. As they get the instruction, just twist the tungsten wire into a coil, and you've got a flamelet, and that stands up to heat. And then Yusuriya says that they place it in the alcohol until it is warmed up, and it starts simmering. But of course, this being the king of the science, nothing goes right the first time, and it creates a big old explosion. And Miami is just freaking out here, like, what exploded? And Kim was like, not really sure. And Yo is saying, maybe this is a job for the enemy mechanism. Let's just ask old Brody to handle this part. But of course, Nikki being Nikki is just like, absolutely not. Senku must have asked us to craft this diamond for a reason, so we shouldn't let the enemy get involved in the process. Like he said, science isn't just for the eggheads, which is why we can do this. This is ground zero, and I love Kimru, Yo, and Magma's looks here of just like, yeah, okay. He's right. He obviously gave us this mission for a reason, and if he believes in us, then that's all we need. And I love that. Like, again, loving how Senku's words are just inspiring, like even the dumber characters like Yo and Magma. And like I said, I've got a great idea of how Magma's character arc could end. I'm just bringing this up right now. Like, say after all of this, they get the Medusas, they go back to Corn City, and like I said last time with Stanley and Sinu possibly staying behind in Super Alloy City, I can see Magma staying behind in Corn City with Dr. Brody. Like, Magma says to Senku, like, hey, if I stay here, can I be the chief of this city? And Senku will be like, yeah, sure. And then he'll be like, okay, I at least get to be the chief of this city. But of course, Dr. Brody will be on hand to do all the scientific mechanisms. But also, he'll probably be someone who can actually keep Magma in line, because I believe he's someone that could at least go toe to toe with Magma in like a fist fight as well. So even if Magma was to stay behind, I believe he'll at least have a scientist with him to like do all the technical and all the stuff that that he can't figure out himself. But again, I'd love that if Magma became the chief of one of these cities, and it would be a great ending for his character arc, and give him basically his dream that he wanted to achieve. Like, because like you said at the end of Stonewalls, he doesn't want to kill Senku, but he still wants to be the chief, and this would be the perfect opportunity for him to actually become basically the mayor of Corn City. All right, so continuing on. Yusuriya and Nikki are working on actually getting the diamond crate, as they go on to say maybe some air got in there, and that's why it blew up. Which makes sense. The more air you pump into something, it expands and then eventually like just blows up. So that makes sense. And in this case, they would just need an alcohol vapor to shove the air out of the way before they actually imply the heat. Yeah, again, makes sense, because if you put heat and air together and it expands in glass, it explodes. And this is something that's actually happened to me. Okay, a bit of history lesson. I used to work in a bar, used to do glass collecting, and we had a machine that would wash the glasses. And sometimes when I'd put like after the machine was done and all the heat was being exposed out, and I put one glass on top of another, the heat would just expand the glass and explode all over me. It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt when the glass got exploded over me, but at the same time, that's kind of common knowledge that something like that would actually happen. So it makes sense that the air is expanding and basically exploding in the glass, and of course exploding the process to actually make the diamond. We get the components for making the diamond, which are flambrant, recipitel, and burning to ensure that the output is 100% alcohol vapor before they actually say done, all charred. and Yo's like, for real? And I love this stuff that Kirasami is there, showing that okay, she's actually learning herself as well, because she's one of the people who's just been brought into the Kingdom of Science, and the fact that even she is learning as well, that's impressive. That's really impressive. As she goes on to suggest that perhaps the temperature was too low, and Kimura says, let's turn up the electricity, as we see Magma doing basically just that. And again, like I said, love it that Magma is actually getting more involved by the second in the scientific crap. And I would have loved to know what Magma would have been like in high school if he lived in our world before the petrification. How would he turn out if he wasn't as caveman like as he is? That would be quite interesting for them to actually, if we could actually see that. But anyway, they go on to say that there's no juice running through it all, as Miami's freaking out and going, what are we supposed to do now? And Yusui is saying, what went wrong now? Before they go on to say, this spot with the two wires that provide the sap, they're connected. And Mecha Senku in all his glory comes out and says, accidentally completing the circuit where not intended is an incredibly common mistake and not something to beat yourself up over. And I love the fact that Mecha Senku just says like that. Yeah, even the smallest things, even the smallest mistakes are common, so you shouldn't really beat yourself up over the bush about it. But they go on to eventually create a diamond which looks ridiculously tiny, but the particles are sparkling, as we see Joel analysing it, and Nikki and Yo just celebrating as we get the caption, Diamond acquired, as Yusuriya is relaying this information to Senku, and that's where the chapter ends. So, lot to unpack there. Big chapter. We got basically the idea of like, okay, you have to have the diamond be tip-top, no cracks, basically nothing. Basically, the diamond has to be at 100%, not 99.9%, 100% before the Medusa can actually start working. And we got such a great character inspiration moment from Senku here, and great character development from the other characters in Corn City. Now, the big question is, like, if they were to use the Medusas in this way, would they work against Stanley? And I'd like to say no, because Stanley is still just as sharp as ever. He's a major sharpshooter, and he could easily be quick enough to actually just be like, they'll be like 1 meter 3 seconds, and he'll just be like quick, and he'll just shoot it. So even though they have the diamond, I don't think that's still going to be enough to take down Stanley. They'll have to be getting a little bit more creative, a little bit more sneaky and tactful in this regard. But once again, great chapter, probably one of the best of the series. Is it the best? That's kind of up for debate here, but if I was going to do a top 10 Dr. Stone chapters, this would be one of them. And if I was going to do top 10 Dr. Stone moments or top 10 Senku moments, this moment in this chapter would definitely be close to the top. Like, just the Dr. Stone moment, Senku's inspirational words to Core City. Like, maybe number 3, like, that's something we'll have to debate at some point, because there's so many good moments in Dr. Stone that it's going to be hard when we get to the end of the series and we actually have to do the top 10 Dr. Stone moments. But in terms of this year, definitely number 2. I want to say the reveal of the Medusa Pyramid is number 1, basically, just because of how, like, unexpected that was. But definitely, this is definitely number 2 and the best character moment from Senku in a while. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasher Luke signing off. Later, guys.